Okay, expresspros.com. Okay, Shannon, do you want to introduce our next guest?
Yes. So I want to introduce Dr. John Ashcraft, who's the owner of
Ashcraft.
Ashcraft. I'm so sorry. I broke my glasses
I'm so
this morning.
glad somebody had
I
to
broke my
correct you.
glasses. They're literally taped together. No one even noticed that. But so now it's like I can't really see. Ashcraft. Thank
Perfect.
you, John. Owner of the ChiroLife Wellness Center in Mooresville. Welcome.
Well, thanks for having me.
John, thanks so much, buddy. We appreciate you coming in today. You know, we were talking a little bit before the show started, and you were like making me sick. You just got done running 6 miles. He was listing all the stuff he has already done in the morning before he got here, right? So
I was just happy to get here on time.
So I told you to stop showing off, right? So
You did. I get up every morning and get a nice early start. I figure I have to knock the cobwebs off before I get to my first patient, so I'm not warming up on them.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So your office is in Mooresville, correct?
It is, just off exit 35.
How long have you been a chiropractor?
Oh, almost 19 years now.
So I ask this question all the time. You know, did you just wake up one day back in 1963 and say, I think I want to be a chiropractor? How does that happen?
Interestingly enough, it was almost like that. I grew
Except
up in
it wasn't 1963.
No, not quite 1963. But I did know very young, luckily. So I grew up in a wrestling family. My dad was a wrestler, all my uncles, cousins. So I started competing at age 5 in upstate New York. And I got.
Oh, come on, man. You look like a toothpick, man.
I'm glad you said New York because I thought of WWE wrestling immediately when you said wrestling. I'm sorry.
No, I was. I actually.
So competitive wrestling.
Yeah, I
Got
started
it.
competing at age 5, and I wrestled all the way through 4 years in college.
Wow.
In 7th grade, I injured my neck, and my dad took me to see a local chiropractor. And it was phenomenal. I knew leaving there that I was going to be a chiropractor. So since I was 12 years old, that's really all I've wanted to do as a career. And I do have other passions and things that I'm interested in. But
what was that at the chiropractor that led you to just get this respect for the craft?
Sure. Well, interestingly, there are 2 different types of chiropractors, and I'll circle back to that in a second. But he took me there for my neck pain, which thankfully it made a tremendous difference just in one visit. So I left there completely pain-free after one visit, which I know now is not typical. I respond very quickly to everything, whether it's an adjustment or a change in nutrition or exercise. It's the bell curve, and I know now that I'm more of an outlier in the way my body responds to things, the way my mind responds to things.
Yeah, because you're making me sick.
I know.
Thin and handsome, and it's just disgusting.
I'm inspired to start running again. Thank you. I'm serious.
Tomorrow morning.
That's it. Saturday, 9 a.m.
Exactly.
I'll do 9.
So he took me to see this guy for my neck injury, and this guy checked me all out, and he was doing like a leg length assessment. And in my mind, I remember thinking at the time, why is this guy touching my feet when it's my neck? It was just kind of odd. He didn't really communicate those things very well, which is probably why I over communicate to my patients. They're going to listen to me whether they want to or not, sort of a thing. And so he adjusted me, and it was instantaneous relief. So I knew that that's what I wanted to do leaving there, and it's all I've ever wanted to do.
Isn't it a wonderful life when you know what you want to do? You know, you at least you know where you're headed to.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody's heard if you wake up and love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I truly feel that way. I feel very, very blessed.
And we just met each other, and I can tell that about you.
Yeah.
You just absolutely really enjoy this.
Sure.
So talk about the two. You were saying there are 2 different types of chiropractors.
So there are musculoskeletal chiropractors who really focus on neck pain, back pain, and headaches, and the things that most people understand that chiropractors do. But as a wellness chiropractor, you focus not just on those things, but you take a deeper look at the other parts of the nerves that control organs, glands, and blood vessels. So your brain and your nervous system control every function in your body, not just your musculoskeletal system, and for pain management. For almost 8 years, I worked in a multidisciplinary sports medicine clinic down in Charlotte with an orthopedic surgeon, a group of PTs affiliated with a couple neurosurgeons at one point. So I got a tremendous amount of experience working with the worst of the worst when it comes to the musculoskeletal, neurological side of things. But there was a little something missing. And the group I was working in, I wouldn't say they necessarily pigeonholed me, but I do remember the orthopedist one time saying, you're not going to tell people that adjustments fix ear infections in babies, are you? And I was like,
well, maybe.
Why not? I mean, if you understand the link there, and it's a neurological link coming off the upper neck to the muscle that attaches to the eustachian tube, well, if you get a misfire in that nerve and you free that up, then those kids sure can respond appropriately to that, and they respond much better than they do to medicine. So, my practice at this point has transitioned very much so into treating anyone who has a nervous system. I literally 2 months ago, I remember I saw a 9-week-old baby, and then my very next patient was 98 years old. And actually, I treated the 98-year-old and her youngin, who's like in her 70s. I love them. They've been with me for almost 15 years. They were my last patients before lunch, and then I went and had lunch with them. I just love them.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
So, and I could tell that about you. You're just a warming kind of personality. Even after I keep picking on you, you keep coming back for more. So, and one of the things that, as we were talking off the air, you have this eclectic life, right? You have a lot of different things and interests going on. Talk about some of those.
Oh gosh. As you suggested, I don't really look like a wrestler now.
Not at all, man. You look like a toothpick. I think I can take you. Shannon, clear the floor.
Be careful. The skinny ones that don't get nervous.
I have been told that, actually. Yeah.
Joe, it's not legal to sit on your, component to knock them out. You gotta do some moves.
I won't stay there long. So I've actually I coached wrestling for years down in Charlotte with some of my buddies and had a good run there. And then when I felt like my body could no longer hold up, I switched over to running because you can do that in the dark, and you can't play golf in the dark, and those are the things you can still do when you're 100. So I've run almost a dozen marathons at this point, training for the Tokyo Marathon right now, which will be the last of the 6 world majors, which is awesome. But let's get back to the chiropractic thing, the real reason why I'm here. Today.
But let me tell you something. That really does say a lot about how when you talk about this sort of holistic approach to wellness, you actually live it. You actually live in that life.
Yeah, I remember specifically I had a professor in college who was my clinical nutrition professor. And if you close your eyes and listen to him, the guy was and still is brilliant. And, you'd hang on every word. But at the time, he was like 400 pounds. And I remember watching him eat a submarine sandwich one day, and the oil and mayonnaise was running down his elbow. And I thought, man, he's not practicing what he preaches. And I don't ever want to be that guy. I definitely, while I have sort of a laid-back demeanor, I think, on the outside, am definitely very competitive and very fierce under all of it, and I will hold my patients' feet to the fire. I ask all the hard questions. I challenge them to be their very best self, and I do the same thing for myself and my staff on a daily basis.
So what is sort of the perfect buyer profile for you? What patients do you believe you can help the most?
Sure, and that's a fantastic question. That's shifted over my career. Early on, I think I would treat anyone, and I still will treat anyone who walks through my door, but in terms of the demographic for the people that I'm looking for, I really prefer to treat people who are looking for a wellness lifestyle. So, chiropractic is one puzzle piece, I think, in a paradigm where the purpose of the adjustment is not to pop a bone back into place and somehow magically that cures people. The purpose of the adjustment is to open up the nerve system. So when you have physical, chemical, and emotional stress, you alluded to the first two earlier, the physical and the emotional stress, which everyone can relate to, but chemicals also play a role in that, and that mostly is our nutrition. And so those stressors impact your nervous system, and when you start to get a weakness there, that'll create roadblocks so that your brain and your spinal cord cannot talk to your organs, glands, blood vessels, joints, and soft tissues. And so it starts to wreak havoc on you, while the adjustment opens up that pathway so that your brain can tell your body how to heal. Understand that doctors do not heal. Doctors facilitate the healing process. So by removing those roadblocks from the nervous system, you facilitate the body's ability to heal itself. So I personally believe that every man, woman, and child should be checked for those roadblocks, and that's what we do in our office through a special technology that tests the balance or imbalance of the nervous system. In addition,
go right ahead. No.
In addition to that, that's just the piece that I offer, the hands-on piece that you can't do at home. Well, the lion's share of it comes from your lifestyle choices. So if you're exercising, eating, and getting the proper nutrition.
Here we go, Shane. He's going to tell me to stop eating pizza. Here we go.
Hey, I don't mind pizza.
Just not every meal.
Everything's in moderation. Yeah,
That's right.
for sure. And then, practicing meditation and other things you can do to really calm down your emotional stressors, and then sleep quality. So most of us we destroy that. And technology certainly has made things easier, but it also, you're never unplugged. You're always engaged. And so when I look at the youth, and I have 4 children myself, my 2 youngest, we have to really moderate the amount of time that they spend on technology, because they're developing now what's called texting neck. Well, it's terrible if my children are walking around with forward head posture and rounded shoulders when daddy's a chiropractor. So, everybody should be, fighting these things on a regular basis, and really doing what they can do as a lifestyle on their own. But without a balanced nervous system, you can be making fantastic life choices, and it may not stick.
So how long have you been in this location in Mooresville?
I bought this practice from John and Danielle Moore 9 years ago, and we just grew it up from there. I have another doctor who's just joined our practice about a year ago, Dr. Connor Donahue. Fantastic. He was a student coming in between quarters and shadowing, and then he did his internship, and I feel very blessed we were able to scoop him up, and he's really growing as well. So yeah, we've got a fantastic practice there.
So let's talk just briefly about the business of helping people, right?
Yep.
So how do you come up with a pricing structure, and also the scheduling? When I talk to doctors, dentists, that sort of stuff with small practices, it's always this challenge of how many people can I serve in a day and serve them well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So I've always been slightly below reasonable and customary for our area, and I made that decision with my wife and my consultant a while back because I want to serve more people. So our purpose is to abundantly serve our community by facilitating chiropractic miracles with extraordinary hospitality.
Chiropractic miracles.
Yeah. And
I like that.
I like extraordinary hospitality. You don't hear that from a doctor.
I didn't choose that word miracle by accident. The body has an innate ability to heal itself, and I do believe that we're facilitating that process, and that's why and there also are 2 different types of miracles. There are overt miracles where you have someone wheel in there, all crippled up, you lay your hands on them, and they do cartwheels out the front door. Those are rare, but you do see them. The covert miracle is where you're adjusting someone now, and you're opening up the nervous system that controls, say, like the heart and the lungs, and you might be preventing a heart attack 4 years down the road. Never knew. You saved them ahead of time. You were proactive there. So I did not choose that by accident at all.
Right. And so if somebody wanted to reach you, how could they do that?
You can go to mooresvillechiropractor.com and look us up there. Everything you could possibly want is on our website.
Great.
I won't give you my cell number right now, but if you become a patient, you sure can have it.
Are you on social media?
That's a tremendous weakness of mine. We do have a Facebook page.
I know a guy that can help you that's here right next to you.
Yeah, all right. We might have to talk. I'm actually in the market for that.
Well, I'll tell you, the one thing that defines you, other than you're disgustingly healthy, is that when you and I first talked, you said, Joe, I've got over 700 patients, and every one of them has my personal cell phone.
So funny.
That just defines
Sounds
you.
like
completely.
Joe. Joe gives out his phone number, too.
Absolutely.
That's right. That's exactly right. Thank you, my friend. I really do appreciate you coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
You are listening to Local Biz Now. If it's Friday morning, your business matters. We'll be right back.